Ria, let me know.
Yeah, a few minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's been live streamed.
Okay, we are live.
Right. Hello and welcome everybody. This is a great occasion and I'm excitement and gratitude that we welcome you to our 50th episode of the Youth Talk Show, Say Something with Mads, which talks about empowerment, inspiration, and transformation. Today, we are not just reflecting on our journey, we are setting the stage for the next 50 episodes of Impact. A year back, when I interviewed Shriyanka Banerjee live on this channel, I was not sure how far I would be able to go and how far this will sustain. But people, young people from all across the globe kept joining and made this journey so beautiful and satisfying. Thank you. Thank you to all of you. And Shriyanka, I can see, is here live. She was my first interviewee. We have hit the
Hello.
half century mark, and it's time to reflect on the incredible journey we have embarked on together. This youth show is not just entertainment, it's a catalyst for transformation, and tonight we are lighting up the path ahead. Without further ado, I will introduce our two esteemed panelists of the day. Our first panelist is a true trailblazer in the field of education. She has a wealth of knowledge to share today. Dr. Sagarika Roy Bhatia, author of the book Just Expressions. She's a global speaker, a parenting coach, a neuroscience coach, and a lead auditor for educational institutions. Currently, she's an educational thought leader working towards developing an alternate education learning environment for sports enthusiasts at Mohali, Punjab. Welcome, a very warm welcome, Dr. Sagarika.
Thank you very much, Ms. Madhumita, and heartiest congratulations to you for your session today after having completed fifth, and today is the 50th. So lovely to connect with you and all the youth present here. It's my passion to connect with the youth, and I'm happy to be here on your platform. Thank you so much for having me over.
Thank you. Now we move on to our next esteemed panelist. It's a pleasure to have Mr. Kumar Ganesan, who is joining us on this momentous occasion. He's a copywriter, he's a brand guardian, certified leadership coach, and he has won awards and hearts with his story books. His book is Storywala. His retail and first book, the second book he has released is called Love Storywala, and which has some endearing collections of short stories. And his Instagram account, Breakfast Tales, has over
Have we lost you?
yeah. Could you hear the introduction, or my internet was playing up?
No, it was
Uh,
partial. Partial.
So we'll
You
go to
love Storywala, and then his
follow
channel.
on Instagram.
Yes, Mr. Kumar, once again, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to this.
Thank you, and it's my honor to be here. I'm extremely happy to be interacting with the youth, as I believe that they are the ones who are going to be the future of this world. And for people like me, we have a lot to learn from them. And today I'm here only to soak up more and more learnings from them, and hopefully leave this forum with a lot of accumulated knowledge and new perspectives which would make me blessed and further my life and my cause.
Thank you so much for being here from the bottom of my heart. And I'm sure our guests, young guests, will leave with a lot of insights from both of you. Now, let's move on. The stage is set. Let me talk a little bit about a Japanese technique called Pichakucha. I don't know whether you know about it. It's a presentation technique which follows a very strict rule. Actually, it's an oral presentation technique which is visually supported by only 20 images. And each image, you can only speak ideas and topics should be in only 1 minute. The 1 minute is you will have to speak on that for a minute. So the whole today's the show is divided into 2 segments. The first segment will be handled by Mr. Ganeshan. He has a few participants rather, assigned to him. And the second part will be Dr. Sagarika. So let's begin. Connection seems to be playing up in between, and I'm Kumar to share the question and take over this segment. Over to you, Mr. Kumar.
Well, I'm very happy to be here, and thank you all. And I really look forward to all those exciting number of people whose profiles have been shared with me. I mean, I was overwhelmed when I heard their profiles. I'm yet to meet them, but just reading through and going through their interviews made me feel so nervous that, oh my God, I'm here with a bunch of students with so much of energy, and I wonder what is this whole thing going to be. So without much further ado, my topic to you, in which you have about 1 minute to kind of sum up your views, is how relevant is religion in today's modern context of time? And I hope you guys heard that. It is about how relevant is religion in today's time and world, the way we are. And I would like people to come forward and express their views about the same. And I'm happy to hear them.
All right. Let's begin with, I can see Kuber. Let's start with Kuber.
Hi,
Yes,
Kuber.
Go ahead, Kuber. Introduce yourself quickly and then let's start.
Hello everyone, my name is Kuber Mahajan. I am an advocate by profession, and I am also the author of 2 books, namely Traditional and Modern Forms of Talaq and Election Laws in India. Thank you so much for inviting me, and without taking a lot of time, I would like to express my views on a very interesting and yet relevant topic, I would say, in today's time. So I'll start with it. So my views are pretty unorthodox in respect to the topic given by Sir, and I would like to start with 3 lines of Hindi poem. मंदिर मस्जिद गिरिजा घरों में बांट लिया भगवान को, धरती बाटी सागर बाटा, पर मत बाटो इंसान को, मत बाटो इंसान को. So there has been a very, very interesting case study wherein one very high profile minister once went to the Indian Army camp. There he met the Jawans led by a colonel. He asked the Jawans, what is your area and what is your religion? When the person or the minister reached the colonel, he asked him, what is your religion, sir? He said, sir, I'm from a minority religion. He said, oh, so you are a Muslim? He said, no. Then he said, okay, then you must be Sikh. He said, no. He said, okay, then Parsi. He said, no. He said, the colonel said, I am from that religion which people hesitate to tell within their own space. And the minister asked, which religion? He said, Indian. So my view is your nationality should be the true religion, because I have a very unorthodox opinion that there should not be any religion per se, because if your nationality and backed with the aspects of humanity are within you, then you don't need religion, because religion also teaches the same aspects, that do your work for your nation and uplift the other human beings along with your own journey. So thank you so much. This is my view.
Wonderful. I
Superb.
really love to be with you.
Well done,
Very-
Kuber.
Very inspiring, very inspiring. I think a brilliant start to the day. Madhu, who's next?
Who next is, let's take, I can see Riza. Riza, go ahead. Introduce yourself, please.
Welcome, Raisa.
Thank you, sir. So hi, everyone. I am Riza, and I'm a 17-year-old social activist from Chandigarh, India. And I just really like to call myself that. It just gives me more of a personality, I would say. And I totally love the topic because I feel it's very relevant in today's context and how we have had so much discord related to religion. So I would also start with the quote by Guru Nanak Dev Ji, who's the founder of Sikhism. Before becoming a Muslim, a Sikh, a Hindu, or a Christian, let's become a human first. So I definitely agree with the views that religion provides one identity and, self, and you can relate to a religion. However, I feel that it's very important to become a human first. And instead of finding ways to bridge the divides we already have, let's just respect all religions, because religions have existed for a very long time. And it's not possible for them to just cease in a matter of a very short time. So what I would urge for the people out there is to have tolerance for all religions, because at the end of the day, all religions pretty much teach us the same things, which is to promote the agenda of peace, understanding, and compassion for all human beings. If we look at various religions, the ways of worship, the ways of rituals might different, but what we are getting through the religion is pretty much the same. And it's the devotion, it's the loyalty to one's own self, I feel. And humanity is definitely the religion of the future, because all religions do promote humanity end of the day. And therefore, I urge everyone to kind of not have religion become the reason for conflicts, or not have religious dialogue govern our life, and religious communities be the barriers that come in between humanity. And just as all the great religious leaders have once said, emphasize on the importance of empathy and social justice. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was really empowering. Just for your knowledge, I would love to everyone to stick to their time limit, which is 1 minute. So the moment you hear a beep, please be aware that you're crossing your time limit. It only helps everyone to contribute. Thanks for your views. And Madhu, who's next?
Next, we have Kushi Shah. You can see Drizzle. Kushi, are you there? Yes. She's joining from US. Kushi, introduce yourself and the topic on which you spoke on our channel, and then start.
Sure. So, hi, everyone. I'm Kushi Shah. I'm an 18-year-old innovator and entrepreneur, and I'm the founder and CEO of a smart home technology company called Drizzle. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, but I'm actually currently studying abroad in London for this year. So I'm in London right now. I'm super excited to be here, and congrats again to Ms. Madhumita for your accomplishment. I really love this question, and personally, I think that throughout centuries, religion has shaped cultures, our country's regulations, political structures, and practices. And this has also led to many technological and societal advancements that have been transformative for the way that humans live today. But I also think that over time, the role that religion plays in our society has also transformed for the better. The communities that I have grown up in are home to individuals that are incredibly diverse. We have people that are super religious, atheists, or everything in between. And just in the manner that each person in a diverse community brings a unique skill set and perspective to the table, it's quite interesting for me to see the religious perspectives blend together from our vibrant communities today. In my opinion, just as crucial as it is to find the similarities in our beliefs, I think it's also crucial to understand, respect, and celebrate our differences that we may have to truly create a unified world. As unity does not necessarily mean that everyone must see the world the same way, but we should all at least be willing to support one another because at the end of the day, we must focus on becoming good humans first, humanity, humility, and advancing our identity to support the future generations of our world.
Wow, that's really well said. Thanks a lot, Khushi. You really brought some cheer to this discussion, and all the best for your life. Madhu, who's next?
Yes, moving on, let's call upon, I can see Tina. Tina, introduce yourself, what you do, and then on to your views on this topic.
A very good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Yeah, a very good evening, ma'am. First of all, congratulations on completing like 50 episodes on your channel. And I still look at that time when you invited me and how comfortable you made me. Like, so thank you for everything. Also, like thank you for the question. Like this question, it is really significant in today's time, and given the kind of society we live in, especially in India, where we can see how much the freedom of religious expression is being curtailed at every stage. So I think this question has to be there in the discussion. So I believe that in the context of a unified world, the significance of religion depends on its interpretation. It is the interpretive perspective of a religion that decides whether it can act as a medium to unite the world by promoting the common good and alleviating sufferings, or as a tool for oppression, violence, discrimination, and division. Religion can be an ideological glue that persists throughout different populations of beliefs, allowing for a deeper level of cohesion, like if we are binded by a deeper level of togetherness. But at the same time, it can also be a dangerous peace disruptor if it is manipulated and weaponized to indoctrinate one faith's superiority over another. So the importance of religion in the context of unified world and also the globalized world that we are living in, it lies in its potential to either amplify the shared values that can bind humanity and can increase the mutual tolerance, the mutual religious tolerance, or to act as a tool that can exert dominance, that can justify discrimination, and then becoming a source of division and violence in society. So it highly depends on how we interpret religion and how the way we preach it. So this is my view. So thank you.
Thank you for your views, and it was very nice to hear you, Tina. It certainly offered a very different perspective. I agree to you. Being in an influential world, a lot of it is coming to us as influence, and what you said is very, very, very relevant. Madhu, who's next?
Yes, Tina didn't introduce herself. She has designed. Okay, talk about that app which you designed, please.
Yeah, so sorry, I was so excited to answer this question. I forgot to introduce myself. So I'm a third year graduate. I'm pursuing computer science from Delhi University, and I'm an AI enthusiast to say, and I've also designed an AI model that predicts the depression among teenagers and also notify the concerned authorities about the same. So I mean, I'm also into a fellowship, namely Karm Fellowship, which basically educate young women and transform and take us on a transformational journey from becoming a girl with dream to a woman with vision. So yeah, this is my life to sum up.
Awesome. God bless you.
Superb. Thank you, Tina. Now we come to another. I think let's go to Shriyanka. Shriyanka, over to you. And as I said, Shriyanka was my first interview. So it's so glad to see you. She's also joining from Dubai. Shriyanka, introduce yourself and then your views.
Yeah. So, hi, my name is Shriyanka Banerjee. I'm a 16-year-old living in Dubai and a student currently. So congratulations, Auntie, for this incredible
And you are a singer. And please don't forget.
I'm a singer. classically trained for the past 13 years. So congratulations, Auntie. It's been a roller coaster of a journey, and it's incredible that you've reached this milestone. It's incredible to see the growth. So yeah. As everyone has already mentioned, this topic and this question is very, very relevant in today's world, and it holds a significant amount of weight. It's not a very light subject to talk about, but I believe that religion is extremely important in making sure that we're working towards a more peaceful, tolerant, unified world. Obviously, living in Dubai, such a tolerant place where you have masjids and temples and churches in the same street, in the same place, it's incredible to see how people are so accepting. And that's how it should be everywhere in the world. I know, unfortunately, it isn't. But it's true, as mentioned by everyone, that all religions technically are based around the same core values. They teach empathy and honesty and justice, and that's what we should celebrate and, accept everyone's differences as well. I believe that we should have more insightful communications, have platforms built for these communications that are working towards understanding each other's religions rather than fighting over the differences and, trying to seem superior to one religion or the other. But yeah, that's about it.
Right. Thank you, Shriyanka. Yes. Mr. Ganeshan, you are saying something.
Yeah, it's so amazing that there's so much of clarity, in this context. And I'm so happy that at one end you have a complete propaganda, kind of happening in this part of the world where everybody is kind of using religion as a card to make their point. And here comes the youth, here comes the young blood, here comes the power of the world, who I believe will consciously elect their future leaders based on the capabilities of what they have delivered and not on something which is based on religion, caste, or gender. So for me, it is very, very important to get this clarity from youth. I'm very, very happy with this, and I'm so happy that going further down, these are the people who would be evangelists for a fair, free world, and where we could actually celebrate our differences. And there's nothing about belonging to a particular religion. We all are proud of the religions which we belong to. But if given a chance, I would redefine religion to be one universal religion called humanity. And if we could all believe in that religion and make it our most important priority, then I guess everything else will follow suit. You can be human, practicing your own religion, but believe that humanity is the first thing that you need to be addressing, and that is the context of empowering the world and being there for each other. So pretty much happy with the views so far, and I'm so excited.
Yes, we are moving on. Maybe Shriyanka can think of a song to end this show based on this theme of all religions together. I give you time to prepare for, maybe we have another 15 minutes if you want. I don't want to push you for that, but let's see if you can. So moving on, we have Kanak. Kanak, where are you? Kanak is also a Karam fellow, and Kanak will introduce herself. And her episode was last episode launched was Kanak's, and is doing really well. Yes, Kanak would like to. She has lots to share. I love her views. Let's see what Kanak has to say.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm very happy to be here, and congratulations on completing 50 episodes of your show. Thank you for inviting me as well, and going on and sharing my opinions on this topic and how relevant I think religion is in this unified world context. I mean, historically, religion has been one prominent source of discrimination and dividing people, but I think at the same time, it brings together people. It gives a cultural aspect to one's identity, and it creates a sense of belonging. Religion, in my opinion, teaches us perspective where, like Raja said, it every religion professes same thing, but in a very different way. And I think that is how religion teaches us perspective, where every religion learns, brings forward a different way of professing and expressing their beliefs, which at the end align as one single belief. So in this context, in a world where exchange of opinions and voicing of opinions has become more convenient, religion will have to model themselves into a role of becoming tolerance, preachers of tolerance and acceptance. Yeah, and like sir said, like it is in the end, religions are opinions, perspective, but in the end they all align as one thing. And yeah, thank
Awesome.
Let's move on. Yeah.
Yeah, please, let's move on.
Okay. We have now Parminder. Parminder is also a Karam Fellow. Yes, Parminder, how are you doing? Introduce yourself, what you're doing. What was your topic of the choice of when we were doing the interview, and then your views on the current topic today.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much for hosting this, and yeah, congratulations on the milestone. So I'm Parminder. I'm a 20-year-old from Delhi. I'm in my 3rd year of my graduation, and as ma'am said, I'm a Karan Fellow with the Karan Fellowship for Young Indian Women. And the topic of my podcast that I did with ma'am was around breaking the gender norms in the Indian society. So about the topic, I think this is very much relevant in the context of today's world. So I'm a religious person myself, but I feel really disheartened to see all the religious dogmas around us. But I feel that religion, still there is a need for religion to exist. As everybody mentioned, that in the prehistoric times, the need was more like social, in terms of like setting moral grounds and binding us into a social fabric. But as we are moving to the more recent times, we can see that we are more than ever connected through globalization and technology, and have strong like social and legal institutions in place. So I think that this role for religion like needs to be transformed from a social phenomena to more of a personal and a non-political affair, where individuals, they can like freely practice their individual relationships with the god or the nature, and it will allow them to have a sense of purpose, a sense of hope, and it will act as a moral compass amidst this stressful chaos of modern lives. And I think these tolerant individuals will then move on to make our world more united, where the cult formation around a particular religion doesn't happen, where those cults don't fight with each other over dominance. So yeah, that is fine. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Parminder. Let's move on. If Arav is here, Arav?
Yeah, I'm
Are
here.
Yeah.
Can you see me? Yeah.
Yes, Arav.
Yes.
Welcome.
So, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for
Introduce
inviting me to today's episode. And to introduce myself, I'm the founder of Where I Stick the Foundation. It is a non-profit organization which works for several social and environmental issues, such as menstrual poverty, environmental degradation, and lack of education. And without any further ado, I'd like to answer the question that how relevant is religion in today's world, or how important it is in the unified world. And I guess today, at the surface level, when we take a look at religion, we often think of religion as a dividing force somehow, because like throughout history, we have seen examples, and sometimes even today we see that religions are often not talked about, but being acted with stick stones, and they have guns involved in it, and there are all sorts of violence that religions have created throughout history. But what many people do not realize about religion is that it is not a great divider, but one of the greatest unifiers humanity has ever had. And without religions, the progress of our civilizations would not have been possible, because most people get wrong what religion really is. They think that religion is about gods, but it is not about gods, it is about humans themselves. So how a religion actually functions is that we create laws for humans, and we give it a supernatural validation. We validate these laws by attributing it to the supernatural entity which we call God. And that is really, really important to do because it really serves an important function, that is of giving hope to the people. And without religions to exist, there would not have been hope in the prehistoric times and even in the medieval ancient eras and even today. So a world without religion is not a world, it is a void of meaninglessness. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Mm,
So good to hear that.
superb. Arav is also a TED speaker. Arav forgot to mention that he has spoken a lot on menstrual hygiene, and they do a lot of work for women needs for this in the lower strata of the society, and we are proud of you, Arav. So moving on, do we have anyone else from this team? No, I don't see anyone here. Right. So
Madhu, I would just like to conclude on this, by giving them
yes,
what
you
we
will.
can have.
Yes,
Yeah?
definitely. Yeah.
I'm very happy to see the majority of people, they have the right set of values that is desired in today's time and world. However, I would love to say just one thing, whatever the views about any particular religion or religion per se, don't let it come to you at the cost of somebody else's influence. Use your intelligence and use your experience to read up, to soak up, to actually know what different religions profess and practice. Okay, don't believe in what is somebody's version of religion. That doesn't work. Okay, we are living in an influencer era, and there is so much of influence coming us in every aspect of life: the way we eat, the way we look, the way we function. So at some point of time, I question myself that do I really want to be called as an influencer? Because you don't want to have that kind of a bearing on someone. So I would motivate people to read up, soak up, and have your own very opinion about what is right and what is wrong, rather than being led by someone. And the day you discover it yourself, that learning and that understanding would go about helping you to become understand religion in a better perspective and become a better human being. At the end of it, we all are the same, and we all are born to serve each other. So let us be together, and whatever we are, practice it, but with love and affection for one and all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ganeshan. Very well concluded. And I hope this young participants did bring a lot of clarity of thought. And I'm happy to once again say that to all of you, read his books. His books are made short love stories, and they are really lovely to read. Breakfast Tales, right, sir? It's called your Instagram.
Yeah, Breakfast Tale is all random stories with food in perspective. In fact, I guess I'm the only food storyteller qualified to do this. I don't do critic, neither I do recipe, but it's a photograph and a random story.
Yes.
So I guess
Please
people
go ahead
enjoy it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I think this section is we conclude with this final thoughts that yes, we all need to, as Sir said, that we all have to have our own opinion. Don't believe in what others say. Read up and make your own opinion of what to do and what should be done and what is right. Let's move on to Dr. Sagarika. Dr. Sagarika, please, over to you. Take the next part, and I will read out the participant's name, but introduce the question.
Sure.
Okay, then. Thank you so much.
Can I just, before we move on to the next part, is it possible for me to say something on the previous discussion which was held?
Yes, Ganesh, please go ahead.
Yeah. So I heard all the views.
Come on the camera.
I will actually, I got late from my previous school, so I'm just driving and parking my car. I'll soon be on the camera in like 10 minutes.
All right, sure.
But yeah. But I heard all the views, and principally they all spoke about the fact that, nothing that divides humanity, should be basically, accepted. So principally, I think everybody's on board with that. There were also views which said that religion, has its own purpose, significance, and it's not something that has to be done away totally. So I'm on board with that. What I missed out is we didn't what I want to convey is that, the issue is not religion. If you ask me whether you need religion or not, I would say, but it's right now. The issue is that a need to identify with things. I'm sorry, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Go on.
So what I missed out is, yeah, I'll go on. Yeah. So I think the issue is the need to identify, the human need to identify with something. So today you're talking about religion. Tomorrow it could be nationality. It could be a caste. It could be my college. I'm an Annamite. It could be my city. Maybe religion has come into prominence in today's, the current time. But the problem is not religion. The problem is when I identify myself with a religion or any other identity, and I get over-attached to that identity to the extent that I'm willing to go and harm other people to save that identity or to give it dominance. That is the problem. So today, if we get rid of religion, tomorrow, if we have the same need to identify ourselves with something, I'll catch some other identity. So it will not solve the problem. You'll just change the context. And all religions, essentially when the religions came, they came because somebody saw maybe a better way of living or a guidance, to live. It's basically an art of living or a way of life. And that's it. But the moment we organize it, we form an institution, we identify ourselves with it, we name it, we brand it, and then we try to grow it like a corporate brand in a way. I think that is where the problem is, and that can have anything, not just religion, identity that we identify ourselves with. So I think that is the core issue. Yeah. And
he made a very pertinent point there. Isn't it, Mr. Ganeshan? You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, it is a wonderful point that he made, and it is so true because personally, I've been in branding for the last 34 years, and we always look upon religion as an inspiration to how to do branding, because if you actually observe religion very closely, the way they have a code, they have a conduct, they have a color, they have a form, the way they have a certain ritual, these are all things which we also recommend a brand should have, and that is what it makes people become evangelists. Look at religion, it grew through evangelism. And if we could also grow our brands through evangelism, then that would be a completely different perspective. So religion and brand is something which is a lot to be inspired with. So I personally get inspired by religion from the point of view of how they have achieved branding way back, when there was no advertising agencies, when there were no corporates, no marketing. Yeah, and that's the context which I take religion for as an inspiration. So well said, Ganesh. I mean, I think it was very relevant that you signed off with this thing, and it helped me bring this perspective to people. Thank you.
Correct. Right. We will hear Ganesh speak again, and he's my ex-student, so I'm so proud of him when he says this. 20 years back, I taught him, so it feels really great to have him back. So yes, over to you, Dr. Sagarika.
Wonderful. The deliberations were really mind-blowing and thought-provoking. Very, very thought-provoking. And I love the way, the youth is thinking about religion and how they are planning to work around it. And the space that they are creating is really amazing. Wonderful. Congratulations to all of you all who spoke and who spoke so well. Okay, so now we'll just shift gears now. We'll shift gear. It's a different topic now. Let's move to SDG goals. Okay. The world is speaking about SDG from 2015 to 2030. You'll are just left with 7 years now. So let me hear your to-do lists. And your question goes as, what do you think is the most pressing global issue today that aligns with the SDGs? And what actions do you believe young people can take to make a positive impact in addressing it? So let's hear it from you.
Yes, there are a lot of participants here, but I don't see them right now. So I would also, the other group, if they have anything to share on this, you can share your views, because SDG is something which impacts all of us. So the religion group, the participants of the first group can also share their views afterwards. So let's start with the first person. I said, I can see Lamek there. Yes, Lamek, he's joining us from, yes, where are you?
Yes, I'm here. So thank you so much. Unfortunately, I might not be able to turn on my camera. I'm still on transit, but I had to join. I had to join this meeting. So thank you so much for the question and congratulations for your 50th anniversary episode. And I think you are doing a really good job, and you are happy that you brought that on board. So my name is Lamek. My name is Lamek Opio. I'm an environmental conservation champion and a change maker based in Kenya, in Nairobi. On to the question about SDGs, and I think most oftenly, I think we really ask ourselves, we are almost getting into the time whereby we are supposed to achieve most of these goals, but it's not the case. So is there something we're not getting right, or is there something we need to improve on? Yeah, there is. So for me, the most pressing global issue at the moment, it can't be biased because also my area of specialization is on matters environmental conservation, matters climate change, and matters adaptation and mitigation. So for me, I think the most pressing issue, which is close related to SDGs, is on climate change and also environmental sustainability. And I think when you talk of sustainable development goals, and climate change is a threat multiplier. So we say that when we have climate change, we'll have issues to do with poverty, we'll have issues to do with lack of water, we'll have issues to do with health, education, and everything else. And I think as young people, and I always believe that change starts with me and you. Also young people, we make the highest demographic, also in the entire world, we are the majority. And what if as young people, we can lead the way? What if as young people, we can do our little big things to ensure that we're able to at least contribute our bit towards this? So I think these are some of the things we can do. First of all, I think with young people, and I think from even the previous speakers here has spoken about having innovations. And I think most of us here are very creative enough. So what about as young people, we have these youth-led projects in innovation whereby we are able to have tech innovations. We are using this technology that we are having in order to promote sustainability practices, in order to make it easy also for environmentally conscious lives. What if as young people, we start our own projects? I think we have several people who are running organizations, who are volunteering in several organizations. And these are some of the things that we can do jointly, because we also encourage the power of partnerships, so we can have joint initiatives, joint projects that can also help us to come up with innovative solutions for climate adaptation. And we talk of renewable energy, we talk of sustainable agriculture, and all these. I also think as young people, we have lots of knowledge, and I think most of us are elites. So what if we use this energy to advocate and create awareness on the same? So awareness that leads into action. So how are we able to mobilize other young people and also be able to mobilize people in our community and educate them on awareness on how we can be able to raise more awareness? Because we also understand there's some more people who are still deniers that there's climate change. So many people are still in denial. So as young people and as people who really understand this thing to the brim, so how are we able to step into place and raise the awareness on what climate change really is, and how can I be able to tell this to someone who doesn't understand this elites way of thinking about climate change? What are its impacts, and what are some of the things that as people, as farmers, as young people, we can do to ensure that we do away with it, or we're able to solve them? We can also talk about advocating for policy, and I think as young people, we also sometimes it can be a challenge on our side. Because policy means it's political. It revolves around also politics and everything else. And I also understand how geopolitics work in that field. But as young people, how are we able to lobby ourselves and also be able to have those policy reforms that are able to support, when we talk of renewable energy, that are able to support maybe agriculture, conservation, and all that. Then finally, I think also as young people, with the skills that we have, and with everything else that we can be able to do within our capacity, we can be able to have build capacities also in terms of training. We can also be able to have, I've talked of organizations of people joining hands together, starting initiatives, and also action-oriented initiatives. Yes, let's have these talks, let's have these conferences, but everything that we say should be translated into action. And I think that's the way forward for most of us, if at all you want to ensure that at least we make several other steps forward towards achieving some of these goals, of which I'm very optimistic, even though we might not achieve them all, but at least there's progress, and there is, we should always appreciate and give credit where it's due. So that's all from me. Sorry I took so much time, but those are my thoughts on the topic.
Wonderful. you really spoke your heart out. You spoke your heart out, and I can really, I mean, the way you spoke only depicts the passion that you have towards the subject of climate change and the SDG goals, and how you spoke about collaboration, a collaborative activity wherein youth can come together and really bring about the change. Appreciate your thoughts and wish you all the best for your venture into this particular SDG. Yeah. Moving to the next.
And Lamek spoke from the heart. He is an activist. He works on the ground, so you can feel the pain and what he's.
I could feel the energy through his words. Absolutely, yeah.
Yes, exactly. And he's a Rotarian. He's a president of the Kenyan Nairobian Rotarian, and he does wonderful work. So to hear him speak is so inspiring. Let's move on. I can see Janvi Gandhi. Janvi is one very, very enthusiastic of one of my interviewees. She's always at it. I have to. Janvi, introduce yourself and what was your topic of deliberation with me on my channel, and then what is your views on today's SDG topic?
So hi everyone, I am Janvi. I am 15 years old. I spoke with Madhumati ma'am on Face Your Fears, like Give It a Go topic, and I've also given a TED talk on adoption. So there are many SDGs that we have set, the UN has set to attain till 2030. For me, the most vital of all is quality education, which is goal 4. I strongly believe that meaningful education is only solution to all problems. It raises awareness and helps us gain perspective of what is good and bad for the well-being of the society and oneself. After all, we stand here because of our opinions that we have been able to build, because of the education that we have received. I'm sure without the exposure our schools gave us, we couldn't have had the courage to talk or build up ideas that we talked about on platforms such as this. However, education is not only rote learning theories of anatomy or universe, which has its importance in its own way. But education is also about understanding how can one contribute and one's purpose in today's chaotic world. The books that we learn in our school help us understand the graveness of other goals such as hygiene, sanitization, economic growth, responsible consumption, and much more. I think it is necessary for all to be educated and literate in order to accomplish the 30 SDGs that we really hope to see achieved. It is our duty as powerful teens, and we all have supportive parents, to help those who show desperation for learning in the mere way of what we are receiving. So whatever we can do, even if it's about tutoring a person who cannot afford education, it helps. To end, I would reiterate some words by Mahatma Gandhi. Education is the basic tool for the development of consciousness and reconstitution of the society. Thank you, and congratulations, ma'am, for this milestone that you have achieved today.
I totally resonate with you with your SDG 4, that is education, because currently I'm here at a space at Mohali, Punjab, wherein I'm working very hard to educate sportsmen. We have the international and national sportsmen, and we bring education to them for the simple reason that sports is a very short-lived career. It's a very, very short-lived career, and ahead, the only way that these sportsmen can move ahead is only education could be empowering for them. So education is everywhere, and I think education is the only tool which would take the world ahead. Absolutely well spoken. Thank you very much, Janvi. Appreciate it. Yes, Madhu.
I can see Dr. Sagarika very enthusiastically sharing her opinion. She has spoken about this topic on multiple international platforms, and it's very close to her heart. So we would like to hear you more on this when we conclude. All right, let's now call upon Dipesh. Dipesh is again my student. Both Ganesh and Dipesh were in the same batch of my class. And their opinions are something really eye-opening sometimes, and I really like the way he writes. He's now teaching design in Mount Litera School, but let's hear it on SDGs and a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself, Dipesh.
You've already introduced me. I was going to introduce myself.
Yes. I couldn't stop it because my student is here.
I can't think of myself as anything other than a student. Like, it doesn't matter that how long I've been teaching, but I'm still learning. My truly believe that we have enough CEOs and we need more CLOs, which would be like Chief Learning Officers. I wish we could have more of those, but okay. So my name is Dipesh. I graduated as a product designer. I am still trying to learn. As she already mentioned, I have been an educator for the last 10 years. To answer the theme of the question is that I think there are only two things if the world deals with, which is health and well-being and education. Because a healthy, educated population can solve all the other problems on their own. So we don't have to cater to all the other problems and we cannot rely on one governing body, one institution, one government to solve it for us. That's not how it's going to work. We all have to solve it ourselves, and that's the only way we can do it is healthy, educated individuals. Okay. But what I really want to talk about, the pressing thing that to me is quality education, like Janvi already mentioned, but I want to talk about the other end of the spectrum. Yes, the lack of quality education on the lower end of the spectrum is a problem. I think quality education on the upper end of the spectrum is a bigger problem, much bigger problem, because now these students or these teachers have no dearth of anything. I have access to all resources. In fact, I have more resources than I should have availed. And my bigger concern is technology, right? Technology the selling point has always been to reduce human effort. And if I'm trying to reduce human effort, the point of it is that so that I can buy you some time and you can do something else creative, be with your family, do anything else. But I genuinely feel human beings love being busy. That if I give you a technology that will spare you time, you will figure out another task to do in that spare time. And that's where I am right now. I am burning out. Right. And I'm using technology. So just today, a teacher introduced me to this technology called Magic School AI, which makes everything for me. It will do my lesson plan. It will do how to do the lesson. It will tell me what task to give, and it will tell me how to assess as well and how to do differentiation in that assessment. And it is bullshit. It is bullshit because then it means that now at the other end of the spectrum, it's not just me who has access to the tools, my students have access to the tools, and we are no longer teaching them the understanding of the subject. We are figuring out how to do this task. So they are all doing a task. That does not mean they understand this subject or any subject, right? So we are using on the other end of the spectrum, these tools. Technically today, a non-designer can easily teach my subject. Any subject, any non-background person can teach it because of AI. But I am really concerned because if we are looking at this youth going to be tomorrow's leaders and we have only trained them how to rely on AI to solve all their problems, when they will really be in those leading positions, they will still be using or relying on technology to look for answers, and they might not have it because we are not allowing them to have their own thought, their own questioning, their own inquiring, and it's just, that's it. I don't know what else to say. It's just pissing me off.
I can feel that emotional atyachar that you are facing, Dipesh. The atyachar is really, it's gruesome for you right now currently. I mean, and you are rightly expressing it. But yes, AI is coming up big time. You can't avoid it. And especially in education now, AI is going to be the way ahead. So I think rather than, being frustrated about it, is better we embrace the change and we take it ahead, because there is no way that you can alienate yourself from this particular topic. It's going to be with you, and you've been very patiently waiting since the very beginning of the show. I've been seeing you that when is it going to be your turn? And finally, I mean, you expressed yourself so well. Kudos to you and wish you all the best.
My issue is not with the tool. My issue is who we give. It's just like a knife. My father gives this example all the time. You can cut vegetables with a knife, or you can poke somebody with that knife. Right. It's not the tool. So if a writer uses ChatGPT, it's going to help him, okay. But if I give it in the hand of somebody who doesn't understand how to form a sentence, he is going to use that tool and do the task, okay. But he will not learn the language. And
by then there'll be another tool which will come up to even solve this problem. That's what the new entrepreneurship is all about. That is identifying the gap and then bridging it. So there'll be another tool. Don't worry. Wonderful, but I'm really enjoying this, Miss Madhumita. I'm really enjoying the way the thought process is. It's rolling out a lot of thoughts currently into me. I'll when it comes to concluding, we'll talk about it. But I'll also put in snippets. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, true, true. And you can speak with Dipesh and Ganesh for hours and hours on this, and they will have so many new things. So it's we are constantly.
Even Tina, all of them have been wonderful, wonderful. Yes.
Their thoughts are so clear. Right. Right. Let's move on. Who is here today now? From yes, let's.
Kanishk is there.
I think Ganesh is joined back. Ganesh. Let's take Vianka because she has to leave. She is joined from Spain and she's a young girl. She's waiting patiently. She has exams. Vianka Nanvani. Vianka, over to you.
Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Vianka.
Is it okay for you to switch on the camera?
It doesn't work, so I can't really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Vianka.
Yeah.
Introduce
Hi.
yourself.
Yeah. Hi, I'm from Barcelona. My name is Vianka, and I'll explain now like the sustainable development goals and what I think about it. So I think one of the important ones is climate change, and I think young people hold a tremendous power to make a positive impact on this. They can advocate for sustainable policies, engage in climate activism, reduce personal carbon footprints, and many more. They can also speak up with their voices and actions. They can drive to change and inspire the world to address this critical issue. And this ensures that it will make it a sustainable future for everyone. So that's what I think about this.
Wonderful, Priyanka. It's the youth that can come together and really make this world a sustainable place for all of us to live in. Absolutely well said. Thank you very much. Over to the next one. Yeah.
Kanishk, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Please go ahead. Kanishk, introduce yourself. Your face is getting cut. So yes, there you are. Yes.
Hi everyone.
What was the topic? Yes, introduce yourself.
Yeah, so good evening to one and all. So I'm Kanishk and I had done a Bachelor's of Science in Yogic Sciences and I'm currently pursuing my Chartered in Financial Accountants. And so basically I've known Madhumita auntie for a long time. And so we had this one call as well in which we were talking about a Zoom meeting basically. And in that we talked about sports and fitness and how it's important for the youth. So yeah, so about climate change. So I believe like climate change is something, like even when I was a kid, I mean, maybe in like 8th or 9th, we've heard about it, but now is when we are really like, really like looking at the impacts of it in terms of like, how like I live in Nagpur. And so technically it was supposed to rain during like this months. And now like that's not happening. So like the weather is like really humid, which is weird. So which is why you're really able to see like the impact it is having. And I believe that right now is like pretty high time that like we as youth, as well as the government, all of us come together and really start doing something about it so that, like the future generations, our kids, our families, all of that are like able to deal with it in like a great manner as well. And so I think that one way of doing that is policies, but we can't really leave everything up to the government. Because I think that besides the government, we've got the youth as well, like all of us. And if we come together, I believe we can solve anything. Like anything is possible as long as all of like the people come together. So that's one thing. Another thing, I believe, like if you look at it from a global perspective, right? So see, climate change is not just, we hear like, oh, we should stop using plastic or we should stop using straws. Sure, that has an impact. But I believe like even in climate change, we've got different problems. So if you solve like the problems that are really big, I mean, it's like we solve those, the Pareto principle. There's a principle called the Pareto principle, which is the 80-20 principle. And that if you solve 80% of like the large problems, so if you solve the 20% problems, you'll get 80% benefits of that. And so it's the same thing, even in climate change, if you can solve like big things like emissions from like industries. So if you're able to solve it at a global level and at that level, so automatically you get the effects trickle down like all around the world. So in an instant, the ozone layer will, like the depletion of the ozone layer will slow down. Obviously, you have to bring it to zero, but that takes time. So all of that. And I mean, it's a good thing. So I'm hopeful like it will get better because like the government is working towards it. We have different summits for that as well. Plus, I mean, now because of EV, like EV is like the next big thing, and a whole lot of countries are now like, almost like boycotting. It's like boycotting oil as well. Not so easy to boycott it like initially, like in an instant. It'll take time, but it's happening. Like they're already looking like, okay, yeah, this is the next thing. This is the next big thing. So I believe if all of this happens with policy, with people coming together, I believe anything is possible, and I'm hopeful. Also, it is really nice to see all of you. I've heard great things about all of you all, but it's a good thing that I'm able to put a face to all of you all as well. So, and great speeches to all of you. And Madhumita Aunty, congratulations on your 50th anniversary.
Thank you, Ganesh.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful, wonderful. You know, the powerful impact, I mean, it was very impactful. But then with all this Josh that you spoke with, I hope this Josh amongst all of you youth, you take it ahead and you really revolutionize whatever you say. You know, I was in the UN, this 2023, I got an opportunity to speak in the UN General Assembly. I represented India on Women's Day, that is March 8th. And it was not funny to see the youth all over the world who were there and how the people, they deliberated. But you know, what I see is that in different platforms, I've spoken a lot, internationally, globally, but then people are only talking about it. Action is, you know, it's taking a backseat. So I think now the Josh that you people have, the Josh that I'm seeing on this particular platform, you need to take this, Josh into action. We can talk and talk and talk, but the talking is not going to help. So it is really my earnest request to each one of you all here on this platform, please do something, take it ahead. Action is lacking. Okay, so wonderful. Good to hear you, Kanish, and wishing you all the best. And Nagpur is also another place very close where we belong to. Madhumita and myself, we have our roots from Nagpur. So wonderful to see you from Nagpur. Yeah, to the next one, Madhumita.
Yes, I think we have somebody who is saying that I'll be late. Okay. Yes, over to you, Ganesh. Over to you.
Yeah, hello everyone. Am I audible right now?
Where are you all joining from also? Please mention that.
Yeah, hi. So this is Ganesh. My name is Ganesh Mehta. I'm joining from Mumbai right now. I think there are a lot of pressing problems. So I want the most pressing. But one of the pressing
Ganesh,
problems.
I will interrupt you a bit. Just speak about what you are doing, your work.
I'm just trying to do something. I call myself an entrepreneur, and I'm just trying to do something in the field of education. I think it's one thing I think, that if we fix it in India, it can solve a lot of problems that we're trying to fix. And being a young country, I think it's of utmost importance. So I'm just trying to build solutions which can fill in gaps or deficiencies or improve our current education system where it's lacking and take it forward. That's what I'm trying to do. I can share more details afterwards. So what I was coming to was, I think, the most pressing problem today, what I see, with my eyes, I may not experience it, but what I see is poverty. When I go to a lot of these schools around me, and I see the students, how they live, how they study, how cramped their houses, schools, I just look at them and I just realize poverty is a very big deterrent for them to do anything in life. And it's a very big barrier. And that is the reality. And this is, I'm talking Mumbai, but if I go outside Mumbai in rural cities, it gets, even worse. So today, this is a very pressing issue, I think, in the world for a very large population. And the solution for this is, education. Because if we are able to provide right quality education, we're able to empower these people, weaponize them to come out of their poverty. So as they say, if you feed somebody once, he'll get hungry tomorrow. But if you can educate him, he will have something for life. And I think the solution for this is that we have a very large population of youth today who is well educated, who's coming from, a decent or a well-to-do background. I suggest everybody should give 1 hour of their daily time, if they can, just to spread education. If they've got the opportunity to gain knowledge, they should just give 1 hour, to, let's say 20% of the country is educated and the 80% is not. If one student, can give 1 hour to 4 students, via an online call or any other format, he helps fill this gap, because we are in no way positioned to create multiplier teachers overnight, good quality teachers. So we need to, I think, step out and take this initiative. And the rest of the youth, I recommend, that we focus on building technologies, systems, or structures which enables this other youth who want to spread knowledge, to connect with this audience that doesn't have knowledge. So I think if we're able to develop technologies which supports this objective, and if we are able to come forward to just give 1 hour, to teach those who are not getting education, I think then in a generation or two, we solve a very big problem of lack of good quality education. And with that, we automatically start solving all the other problems of unemployment, crimes, illiteracy, bad electorate, rulers, etc. So this is what I feel is one of the most pressing things.
Absolutely, Ganesh, I do resonate with you completely, because we talk of this economy being a knowledge economy, but still in this knowledge economy, we are unable to take it really ahead in our country, especially because poverty, because of the reason of poverty. So I think let's all work towards it. But then, yes, there are a lot of NGOs currently who are really working, I mean, at the grassroots level, because we are also working here in Punjab at the grassroots level to bring up, how to work with the children who are getting into drugs. Punjab is totally into drugs, and there's a whole generation which has been washed out because of drugs. There are villages, you won't believe, here in Punjab, there are villages where there is no male population in the village. Absolutely no male population, because they've been washed out because of drugs. And if there is no male population, you can understand what is the next generation going to be. There's going to be no generation left. And then youth, you all are youth. So then obviously then that's where then, education comes into picture. And yes, poverty is there, but then there are a lot of NGOs working at the grassroots. And let's see how you as youth take this particular problem over and really work towards this. I think you all can all collaborate here itself. I think Ganesh can collaborate with Dipesh and come up with solutions, because Dipesh has certain problems. Ganesh is coming up with some gap building, is identifying the gap and building something. So here I think you all can, amongst you all itself, you all can collaborate and can really energize yourselves and work towards making this platform, not only the platform, through the platform, take it ahead. Possible, very, very much possible. Good, very good. Very, very happy to hear from you, Ganesh. Yes, over to you, Ms. Madhumita.
I'll just add to this. So I think the NGOs are working on the ground. I'm aware of the work they're doing, but I think there's a need, to change the approach and the trajectory of impact that they are trying to do. Which means because it's like we are trying to give aspirin tablets to treat cancer. India being a young country and with such a large young population, let's say the work that you're doing is not able to create impact for this population in the next 20 years. That means you're going to grow up an entire generation or a large part of it, which is not well educated, just because you don't have the reach to reach out to everyone, or the resources. So, which is why I feel there is a need to relook at how we are trying to contribute in this sector. Today, we have the benefit of technology. We can multiply, with the live stream right now. Let's say maybe, there could be many more who are hearing this. So it's not like I'm talking just few of you all. But it has to be done in the right manner. There are always obstacles and, let's say, inefficiencies or incorrect approaches. But the moment you give a thought to anything can be fixed. So what I'm trying to make a point is, yes, NGOs are doing work. But in my view, it's not at the scale at which we require if we don't want a very large part of this generation to grow up as not very well educated. If we are okay with that, then I think we can continue. So I think we should reassess the impact that we are desiring out of our work with what we are satisfied or what we consider acceptable. And we need to have a fresh look to have new approaches how education should be imparted. For example, you may conduct a teacher training program to train teachers so that they can go and educate the students. But a teacher training program of few weeks a year, cannot create a teacher of the same quality that is created after 4 or 5 years of graduation and post-graduation courses. So what I'm trying to say is that if we go by the traditional approaches that we've been using, which do work, we would take 7-8 generations to fill in this education gap. And I think that is not what we should be doing. We should be looking at how we can fill in this education gap in 1 or 2 generations with the help of the technology we have and reinvent models, to deliver it. That is what, where I disagree with the current work which is happening with the NGOs, and I think that has to change. And also, I and Dipesh have already collaborated on a couple of things. So, yeah.
Very good. Happy to hear that. Absolutely happy to hear that. And I think you need to go ahead and question policies also over and above, because policies are also another issue which are barriers to, the youth working on the ground level at the grassroots level. So also look at that particular angle. of questioning policies, and the government is absolutely open. Take it ahead to them, and I'm sure you will have your way up. So all the best to you all. Yeah.
Right. Let's now move on to, I think Faria has joined. Faria, what was your topic? Are you on the SDG group? Faria, are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Yes, tell me, you are speaking on which
I
topic,
think
Faria?
you placed me in the first group that was regarding religion in the unified world.
Yes. Please go ahead with your thoughts. If you can switch on the camera, introduce yourself. Where are you from? And yes, I can see you. She's a great change maker. She has a lot of work going on. Speak about it and then your views.
Where are you joining from?
Yeah.
I'm in the UK right now. So I'm pursuing my BSc in Health and Medical Sciences from the University of Warwick. So I've just finished my first week in my second year. So a little bit about my work. I'm the founder of ICA India Trust and Project Inclusion in India. So what ICA does is basically we create quality learning environments in the country, which means we help transform government schools and NGO centers, and we help maximize the impact of existing NGOs. So we are involved in a lot of community building projects like wall painting projects and workshops. We conduct holistic education workshops. We provide tutoring services, fundraising, donation drives, everything education. We kind of have some kind of work going into education. We are all students. We're passionate students and volunteers. And we're just working towards quality education for every single child in India that we can reach out to.
Thank you, Faria. And you can see Ganesh is working on the same, Dipesh is working on the same. We have this platform. They are also into education field and passionately working to change the way education is perceived. So I'm sure this will come as a very collaborative thing when we go ahead. Yeah, and yes, about the question. Yes,
a lot of youth in Mumbai who are working with the slums, with the slum children of Mumbai, and who are really trying to bring up the level. And lot of things happening in Mumbai. I mean, Mumbai being a tier 1 city, I mean, it's not funny to see the amount of, the way the youth is engaging, because I think all these colleges have projects with the slums. Every college has a NS, what is that? National Service, NSS, yeah. NSS program with the grassroots. So there are all the colleges in Mumbai, right from Nationals, Mitibai, all these colleges have, they have adopted slums of Mumbai, and they are working with respect to education. There's lots happening, yes.
Faria, your mentor for this group is Mr. Ganeshan. He will speak about the topic later on. Let's see what you have to say about the topic of religion. What was the question? I hope you know the question.
Yeah, the question was how.
Yes, your views on that.
About the relevance of religion in the context of a unified world. What I personally think about this topic is that all religions talk about peace. All religions discuss some kind of service. All religions aim to unite people. But what happens is there's a purpose of religion, which is to unite people. And then there's the elements in that particular religion, sometimes that seek to create some sort of destructive meaning of the religion, which kind of leads to a very destructive result of people following a religion. What it's supposed to do, what the purpose is, that I think every single person should seek to understand and expand their horizons to kind of understand the perspective of a unified world wherein diversity and different perspectives are enriching. They're not an odd kind of different. They're not different in the context that they should be discriminated against or they should face some kind of oppression, but in the way that all religions can exist together in peace and diversity. And we all have very enriching cultures. I myself, I love studying about world religions. It's like a side hobby that I have. So I feel if you start to gain knowledge and if you start to communicate with more people from different and diverse backgrounds, when I first came to the UK, I feel like I met people from so many different countries and so many, different backgrounds, that you start to realize that it's not a bad thing to be different. Like, just because someone has like a different religion, they're from a different country, like it doesn't eventually matter. What matters is like how well you're able to understand their perspective, and that is up to you and whatever content you engage with, what kind of learnings you have. So at the end of the day, I feel like religion is an amazing tool to actually unify people, although it's not always seen as that. But in an ideal world, religion can be a very important unifying factor for everyone.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Faria, for your views and for joining. Be here till the end of this. We will have a concluding session also. Kuber is wanting to share his views on religion, and Kuber will be our last speaker. So yes, Kuber, go ahead.
Kuber has got on religion, right? Would you like to speak on SDGs?
No, he wants to share his views on SDG too.
SDG, yeah. So SDG, that's what, yeah. Because you mentioned religion, so I was wondering.
No. He has his view on.
I think I'm a bit fortunate that I'm playing as an opener as well as the 11th man in the team. So. So I think this is very rare. So thank you so much for such a wonderful opportunity again. I didn't get an opportunity to tell about the interview that had happened between me and ma'am. So it was about the extracurricular aspects. So I am a person since the age of 3, I have been on stage and participating in a lot of verbal competitions. So or requiring oratory skills. So I try to motivate students, especially in school and college, to participate in all forms of extracurricular activities and to possibly cull out the potential or the talent that is hidden inside them. So now coming to the topic, a very interesting topic and a very important topic. But what my view is that, like ma'am mentioned, that UN has specified its target till 2030. Generally, this is a human nature. When the time is about to end, we realize that now we have to rush. The best example with I think everyone could relate are the exams. Oh, I have the exam after 2 days. Let's study. So this is a human phenomenon or a nature that we have. Like ma'am rightly mentioned, we have 7 years, and this is not a sudden push. We always knew that we have time till 2030. But now we realize that the clock is ticking every second. So it is very important that we take small steps but effective steps. To achieve the larger goal, it is very important to achieve the smaller goals first. Because sometimes what mistake we make is that let's create a target which may not be achievable or which is so unrealistic that we don't even start. So rather, let's create small targets, achieve them, and create them as a long road to connect with the larger aspect. So I'll give you a few examples. During my college time, I started an organization by the name Paper Trail. So the goal was to collect all the leftover pages from the registers. So as a student, I realized that whenever I was making notes, few of the registers had say 5 pages, 10 pages, which were left blank. And because they were the used registers, these pages were never used and were always left blank. So I started realizing that this was not the problem only with me. A lot of students had those blank pages left in every register. So I started collecting those pages and made sure that they were bound properly so that a person who is not able to afford registers can use them. So I felt that this was a very small step, but yet an effective step, because I'm saving environment, number one, because the pages are not getting wasted, and I'm helping a needy student who is not able to afford registers. And to my surprise, my friends I started this initiative with my college friends. We were able to help 400 students in a government school, which was a very, very effective thing for us and a motivating factor for us. Similarly, a lot of other steps which can be taking place. For example, gender equality. We always say that yes, women should be taking part equally. There should be equal opportunities. There should be no discrimination. Even our constitution provides that. But in reality, do we ever realize that the difficulties that women have to face? I have seen my mother struggling to raise me first, and then also have to find a job after a certain period of time. She ensured that for me as a student, I don't face the difficulty that I have to fight all these battles on my own. So she sacrificed her job, which I till date tell her was not the right step. But this has been the culture or the thinking in our country at least 20 years ago. But slowly and gradually things are changing. I honestly always raise my voice to this very issue, that why do we assume that it is the responsibility of a woman to raise the child and not of a father? And luckily, and I'm very happy to say that a lot of changes are happening. I was lucky with my parents because my father equally supported her, but this is not the case with every family. So when we speak about equality,
Yes.
again, certain small steps can be taken within your family to support your loved ones first. And of course, the larger goal is always there. Now, another aspect, whenever I go out, say I am taking a metro, I see dustbins are there in every metro station, on every platform. However, you would see people throwing their wrappers maybe on the platform, maybe on the road, etc. So, how many of us feel comfortable to pick up that particular wrapper and put in the dustbin? I do that, but I would never see any other person doing that. Even if I request them to take this very initiative, this is a mindset which we feel कि मैं किसी और का गंध क्यों उठाऊं? But you have to realize this actual garbage is lying within the territory where I am living, ultimately, which will affect me. In fact,
Absolutely.
COVID has given some of the best learnings, I would say. Because, see, during COVID, one was only and only focusing on the aspect of world as one family. At that time, no one was talking, let's attack this particular country, let's defend ourselves from this particular country. Because COVID showed us the true colors that actually this is the true aspect of one world, one family, where each and every person's or country's problem should be dealt as your own country's problem. So, be it poverty, be it education, be it any other aspect, if these are completed or finished or achieved by achieving small steps, we can certainly create wonders in our present.
I can see why Kuber is an enthusiast of speaking. He loves speaking on any given topic. Give him the topic and he can speak on. So very good to hear your views, Kuber. I have one more person joining and I must applaud him. He always wanted to be here. He was delayed. He was in traffic and he was driving. And here he is, Aryan Agarwal. Aryan, introduce yourself. Views in short in 1 minute. Yes, go ahead, Aryan. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Hello, everyone. I'm Aryan Agrawal. I'm currently an 11th grader residing in Mumbai. And my passion is spreading awareness about Model United Nations. That is a simulation of the actual United Nations and discussing on real life problems, which I just did today. So one of the problems which I am deeply concerned about is the issue of income inequality. As Kuber sir rightly mentioned, income inequality can also happen due to gender inequality. That is another thing, because there is a lot of discrimination between men and women at the workplace as well. It is a problem that affects millions of people around the world. And picture this: the wealth gap between the richest and the rest of us have grown to unprecedented levels now. It is not just about unequal slices of a pizza anymore. It is about the fundamental disparities in access to basic necessities like housing, healthcare, and education. The problem is, while some are enjoying lavishly, others are struggling to make ends meet. This imbalance can lead to a lot of social unrest, decrease economic mobility, and a less stable society overall. But here's the important part. There are a lot of solutions to this as well. We can advocate for fair wages and workers' rights. We can ensure that everyone receives a fair share of the economic pie. And additionally, we need to support policies which promote affordable housing, accessible healthcare, and quality education, which can help bridge the gap between the rich and all of us. Imagine a world where opportunities are more evenly distributed, where hard work is rewarded, and where everyone has a better chance at a life. That's the world I'm working towards, and I invite all of you to join me in addressing income inequality and creating a more just and equitable society. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So, Aryan, really, you brought in a point. So, is it time to conclude now, Ms. Madhumita? For the
Yes, time to conclude. Yeah.
Okay. So, as we come to the end of the topic, the UN SDGs that you all have all spoken about, well, all of you all have been very enthusiastic about it. But I would also want to leave you all with certain thoughts. Please think about it and try and work towards it. Is a circular economy. The moment you work towards a circular economy, you will start seeing the change. So look into that. Look into bridging the digital divide that is there with the gender bias. Okay. Also look into empowering and working towards enriching and bringing up the level of financial institutions, you know, the way the institutions are working. I think the youth can really look into that and start working into that. And creating an equitable and inclusive society is also another one where you have the LGBTQ community, the LGBTQ which is there right now, even that community. Then you youth also please understand the secondary education in this world is threatened, absolutely threatened because of poverty. The numbers in the secondary education are dropping. So that's also another area where you really need to start, because everyone starts with elementary education. Everybody speaks and works towards elementary education, but people don't work towards secondary education where it is depleting currently. So this is also an area that you really need to work into. Then also another area that is you need to scale up digital transformation. Okay, digital transformation is another area, domestic financial institutions, as I said, and more newer resilient food systems. Important. When we talk about poverty, you need to really think about how can you improve and have more resilient food systems. And circular economy, I've already told you all, because you need to understand, you know, that these are all interconnected and intertwined. You work towards one, the others are automatically taken care of. That's why I started with a circular economy. Okay, so once you do that, everything will just come into place, and you need to understand that the global solidarity is also at stake. Okay, so this is you, it is you, the youth of today, who can really bring that change, and 2030, 2040, 2050 is totally in your hands. Absolutely in your hands. Now, how are you going to take the world ahead with all the war that is happening around? Okay, the hate speech that is happening around, then the SDG goals that we've spoken about. So there's lots in your hand, lots in your hand. So you just have 7 more years to go and work on your to-do list towards changing this world and become a change. And can you see this? Be the game changer. Okay, so this is what I would like to leave you all with. And thank you very much, Ms. Madhumita, for having me on this platform. Lovely meeting you, Mr. Ganeshan. And we shall meet once I'm in Mumbai. And all you change makers, awesome. Awesome. And wishing you all the best, all the love, all the energy, all the power, and all the sincerity with which you all are really putting your hearts out to this world. Hats off to you all and love you all. God bless. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Sagarika, I also would want to kind of contribute to your topic in terms of telling people what I think is the challenge which I feel the most that needs to be addressed. We become a consumption economy, you know, and increasingly the way we are consuming things, the amount of waste that we generate is a problem. Okay, somewhere down the line, we should rethink consumption. And the rate at which we are consuming things, whether it is food, whether it is oil, whether it is natural resources, whether it is minerals. okay, whether it's energy, and find ways of how we can consume only what is necessary. I think that the ideology is the more we try to consume, which we don't need, leads to even more wastage. So how can we look at consuming less and sustain what we have for a longer period of time? And that is where the first application of thought is. How much can you reduce waste in your own home? How much can you reduce? I even go to the extent of telling people that first reduce the amount of desktop icons you have on your computer. You should first clean your cache as much as the memory computer does. So there is a lot of filth everywhere, and that is because we have consumed a lot, and we have never bothered to lessen our consumption. So whatever it be it, let's look at consumption as an operative word and see, do we really need to consume so much? Can we be frugal? Can we live with less? These are thoughts which come to my mind, and probably I've reached a stage of life where I want to cut off the city and go and live somewhere else where I'm completely far away, detached from the din and kind of bring back the way of how people lived earlier. But that's my way of looking at it, and it need not be everyone's perspective. But certainly, given a chance to spin a story on this, I would say stop consuming what you don't need to consume. And that's the beginning of a sustainable world. And that's my 2 bit as Storywala.
Very much possible, Mr. Ganeshan, to have a minimalistic life. It's absolutely possible. I mean, I always thought that it was not really possible being in a tier 1 city for so many years, but having moved to a tier 3 city currently and living such a minimalistic life is so beautiful. We actually don't require maximum of the things that it's just dekha dekhi jo hota hai in a tier 1 city, and it is just that, okay, we need more and more, and the greed just increases. But yes, following the SDG goals, I think we need to first follow it, and then we can preach what we really follow. So this is it, and lovely having known all of you all. Once again, thank you very much, Ms. Madhumita.
God bless everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the time, and such a pleasure, Madhu. Yes. And once again, congratulations for your 50th episode. Do count me on whenever you need me for anything that you need, and in whatever way I can be associated with you and your students, I'm willing to do my bit on this.
Thank you so much. My heart fills with gratitude towards Mr. Ganeshan and Dr. Sagarika for spared so much time and then listened so patiently and then summing it up so beautifully, each in their own way. I think there's a lot of takeaway for our young generation. And thank you so much to all the amazing guests who have joined us today. Your insights, your energy and passion have made this my youth chat show truly special. We appreciate your time and contribution. And remember, the conversation doesn't end here. Stay connected, keep sharing your thoughts, and let's continue to inspire each other. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and stay awesome. Bye-bye, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Julie.